Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. Welcome back to Mastodon Comics and Music. This is a Bearded and Cole's comic cover challenge. This month is teams. Um, I know Cole said he was a little late getting the video around. Well, I'm a little late doing one. So, uh, with that, I'm going to get into it. It's your top 10 teams covers. And I may be showing some that may or may not be cheating, whatever. But to start off, I have two uh, two covers that didn't actually make the cut for one reason or another. This first one being DC versus Marvel Comics, #1. Um, just like that cover. Uh, Dan Jurgens, Ron Mars, all the greats from the early '90s, putting this one together, Marvel versus DC. Next up, a quasi team. Love this cover. Love this series. Great series. Man Goat and the Bunny Man, #1. Um, awesome series from Zenescope. Uh, so let's get into the actual top 10. And I don't do any certain order because I hate rankings. Because most of the time they're bullshit. But then again, this is your favorite, so it doesn't really matter. One of my favorites is this cover, The Mighty Thor number 412, first full appearance of the New Warriors. Just a great cover. I love it. Mr. Sinnott and Mr. Ron Friends. Next up is the Wildcats, #1 covered action team, first senses shattering issue from Jim Lee. I was a fan of the cartoon growing up. Never really read the comic books. I picked this up later as an adult. But I was a big fan of the cartoon. Had a lot of fun, a lot of memories as a child watching that. Next up is Sergeant Fury #2. Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, #72. Just a great scene of them charging the battlefield. I've said this before. I had a number of Sergeant Fury issues as a kid, growing up, just secondhand. My parents had gotten at a sale, and this one I picked up recently because I've been working on finishing that run or semi-finishing that run. Just a great cover. I went through and picked one out that I had several to choose from, but this one was just an awesome looking cover. Next up is another series that I had as a kid, some of the issues, and I was fortunate enough to finish this one over a year ago, this run. This is the first appearance of the Creature Commandos. I'd be remiss if I didn't include a Weird War Tales on any list because I spent a lot of my comic book collecting career as an adult pumping this series up. Getting excited every time I see someone else has picked up an issue of it. So definitely go out and find yourself a copy of this series. Next up again is this list is in no certain order. So Marvel Superheroes #18. I love this cover. Such a great looking book. Great read. Read the book. No, I bought this slab, but I read it elsewhere. Just a great cover, great classic cover of the OG Guardians. Love it. Next up is probably my all-time favorite X-Men cover. Issue number 254, The Uncanny X-Men. Love the blue and yellow suits. Love the fact that Forge was leading the team at the time. Banshee, all the greats. Even Legion, my friends. Next up are probably, if I'm going to do some rankings, these ones would definitely be put up last because they are from my childhood collection. Factor X #1 from the Age of Apocalypse, and this is one of 2 books that I have from the Age of Apocalypse from my childhood collection. I love this cover. Love the whole scenario of the Age of Apocalypse. It was, I was enamored when this stuff hit the shelves. Next up is another one that stuck out to me as a kid, Excalibur #48. Just them kind of standing and staring off into the distance. What's the next chapter? Toward the future, as it says on the cover. Great, great cover. I love it. This is the other Age of Apocalypse book from my childhood, The Amazing X-Men #1. I love this cover. Again, a touch of a throwback to maybe a little bit of the blue and yellow idea. Banshee. I loved his sail wings. And Iceman. The look of Iceman was just great on this. And last but certainly not least, I don't know if this is cheating or not, but if Bearded can do it, the Mastodon can do it too. X-Force #5 villain team cover. The Brotherhood Reborn, signed by Fabian Nicieza. And I've brought this book up before. This is the first comic book that I read as a child. So it's a kind of a prized possession, hence why it's in the top loader. I don't know that I can espouse that any more. This book, because it's the first book I ever read, I don't care if the story sucks. I don't care if you're not a fan of Liefeld or the X-Force. This book holds a very dear place in my heart and always will. So that is my top 10, if you will, teams covers for Bearded and Cool's cover challenge for this month. Go check out the playlist. I want to thank Bearded and Cool for putting this together, putting these cover challenges together every month. These are really fun. I kind of pick and choose which ones I want to or am able to join in, and I always enjoy watching the videos from the other creators showing their books. So go check out the playlist. Congratulations to Cole on hitting the 1,000 subscriber mark. That's always an uplifting feeling. Makes you feel like you're doing something worthwhile. And go out there and watch the other videos. In the meantime, keep collecting, keep reading, and keep sharing.